Welcome everyone to this, rather short video about leadership units. I say short because of two reasons. One, is there are not actually all that many leadership units, and two, and most importantly, they are mostly kind of the same actually. Like, we take the Orcish ruler line, the Elven line, and the Drake line. They all have leadership, makes sense. You boost your adjacent unit's damage by 25% for each level they are below the leadership unit, and that is kind of all they do. If we look closer at them, they can kind of hold their own in melee, but why would you want them to? They are not as good as their equal counterparts, like the Orcish Sovereign is actually probably the best in fighting terms. With his 10-4, 9-3 attack during night, he actually does quite a lot, but it's your leader. Like, you want them to boost units. It's great because it means he can stand on the front line, but there's nothing exceptional about their combat talent. They're usually just a bit weaker than equivalent unit on the same level. Again, well, actually no, not even he is an exception, because while his range game is not that bad, he is also quite a lot worse than the Orcish Warlord in melee. Same deal with the Elves, same with the Drakes, just that the Drake unit is a bit more range focus. Still not something you want to actually fight with. Special mention should go to the Dune leadership unit, mostly by virtue that they just straight up are bad at fighting. Like, that is a level 2 unit. Like, that's not even a level 3 unit. Special mention needs to maybe only go to maybe the Death Knight. Mostly because he honestly is probably as good in combat as the Dwarf. Like, he's losing 4 melee damage and 5 HP, but in turn gets a not significant, but still existent range attack. So, special props to him, I guess. The only other two exceptions are the Goblin Knight, Wowzer, mostly because of how pathetic goblins are. Like, I don't know, like, there's nothing good about this unit, just, you know, it literally only can boost goblins. And I guess peasants also if you had them, but you rather never have. The one unit to talk about when we talk about leadership units is, of course, the human one. Why? Well, because humans have by far the best leadership unit in the game, just plain and simple. It's not particularly strong. If you look at it, the max range version, the level 4 one, is honestly weaker in combat than the Orcish level 3 one, because it has the same melee strength, by 1 weaker crossbow attack, and 15 less HP. It, to be fair, gets 20% resistances against most types, but it's still, at the very best, as good as it, but honestly probably a bit worse. Thing is, why should it matter? You have a leadership unit for the ability, and the ability is to boost everyone that is lower level than them. And, well, there's no question that having a level 4 unit that can do that is by far the best possible. Later on in campaign, you will mostly have level 2 and level 3 units. 1 or 2 leadership units are still fine, because they can still boost your level 2 units. But with how many level 3 units you will have, they lose quite a bit of their usefulness, honestly. Not the Human Grand Marshal. This absolute unit can just straight up boost the damage of level 3 units by 25%. That is honestly all that's needed to be said to make it clear just how good and superior he is to every other leadership unit in the game. Only problem would be how much XP it takes to rank up, especially with how fairly squishy he is, but if you just play a bit carefully, that shouldn't really be much of a problem. So yeah, almost all leadership units fulfill pretty much the same role. Boost your units, don't want them to be the main fighting force. They're still strong enough to put up a bit of a fight if you have them on the front lines, but it's not their main purpose. The only exception to the general rule still being the human leadership unit, because their specialty is just being way better at the job than, well, anyone else.